Welcome back to Super Recaps. Today I will show you a horror and thriller movie from 2015 called Curve. Watch out for spoilers ahead. The film begins by showing the main character, Mallory, driving in a secluded desert area. We find out that she's driving to her sister's house to prepare for her wedding, as she will be married in a week. Mallory, however, can't believe she's getting married so soon, and she seems a bit unhappy. She tries to take a shortcut to Denver and turns to a service road from the main road. Unfortunately, her car breaks down on the way, so she gets out of the car and tries to fix it, but she is unsuccessful. And now, she is all alone in this isolated desert with no cell service either, so she can't use her phone. She decides to drink a soda to cool off, but when she opens it, it explodes all over her. She then heads to the back of her car to get a change of clothes, but suddenly, a man appears out of nowhere. He introduces himself as Christian and offers to help her when she says her car broke down. He starts working on her car, and soon enough, he is able to fix it. Mallory is really grateful and thanks him. She then gets in the car and drives away. As she's driving, Mallory starts feeling bad for the man who will probably have to walk on foot, so she goes back and offers him a ride. Once he gets in the car and Mallory starts driving, she soon realizes that the man is a chatterbox and he talks non-stop. He even starts to gloat to impress Mallory. She doesn't think much of it at first, but the man suddenly starts saying weird things like how they were destined to be together and that it was meant to be. The guy also shows his true color, and we learn that he is a massive pervert after he starts saying weird and sexual things to Mallory. This was the last straw for Mallory, and she stops the car and tells him to get out. But it turns out that Christian isn't going to leave so easily. He pulls out a knife and tells her to do exactly as he says. So poor Mallory has no other option than to drive forward. She tries to come up with a way to save herself and notices that Christian isn't wearing the seatbelt. This gives her an idea, and she starts speeding up. The man tries to stop her, but the car drives into the railing at the curve of the road, and they fall off. The car has crashed, and we see that Mallory is hanging upside down from her seat. She tries to get out, but it seems that her leg is stuck in the door, and she can't get it out no matter how much she tries. On the other hand, we see that Christian is lying outside as he flew out of the car since he wasn't wearing his seatbelt. But it turns out that he wasn't injured much, as he soon gets up and walks towards Mallory. When he sees that her leg is stuck, he mocks her and tells her to help herself before he leaves her all alone to die. With no options left, Mallory starts screaming for help, but it's pointless as she's completely alone. The camera then moves, and we see that there's a river close by. It soon starts to darken as night approaches, and Mallory has been stuck this way for quite a while now. It starts to get cold because of the night, thankfully, and manages to find some clothes, and she puts them on. The car's battery hasn't died out yet either, so Mallory is also able to turn the heater on. This gives her some comfort, but her worries are far from over. Apparently, she is stuck near a forest-type area, and wild animals soon start approaching her car. Mallory thinks fast and quickly turns on the car's lights, and it scares the animals away. Mallory then falls asleep and wakes up to the shining sun. The horrific night is over, but now Mallory has another problem. She's almost about to run out of water and has no food to eat. Another day passes, and Mallory is still in the same situation. The next morning is also the same, with no hope at all. And to make her situation even worse, Christian shows up looking healthy and clean. He looks happy seeing her in this condition, and even admits that he is immensely enjoying every second of her pain. To rub even more salt in the wound, he comes back a little while later with some food and starts eating and drinking in front of her. He sits there and mocks her, finding entertainment from her pain. He then goes on to tell her that he found a cabin nearby. Apparently, the family who lives there aren't home, so the cabin is empty. He also joyfully states that Mallory might be gone soon, as she won't be able to survive this way much longer. And after saying that, he leaves even as Mallory begs for help. Soon, it's night once again, and Mallory gets lucky and finds a lighter in her car. She makes a small fire with it, which gives her some light and also some comfort from the cold. She falls asleep, but soon she is rudely awakened by some rats crawling over her. Mallory is tired of everything and extremely annoyed, so she kills a rat in anger. She then thinks for a bit and decides to eat the rat to sustain herself. The next morning, she is awakened by her phone ringing. This finally gives her a ray of hope, and she quickly picks up the phone. But before she can do anything, Christian shows up, and she has to hide the phone, so he doesn't take it. He then starts talking about the cabin and tells her that the family who owns it finally came back, and he locked them up in their own house. He then says that she shouldn't be scared of him, and that he will help her now. But then he notices that she has been hiding her phone from him and snatches it away from him. After that, he gives her a song. Mallory is confused and says that she can't cut the door for. Christian says that's right and tells her that he has given this to her so that she can cut her own foot and break free. Before leaving, he also tells her that she has no other option and that if she wants to survive, she'll have to do it soon. Mallory is all alone now, and she stares at the saw while thinking about what Christian said but can't bring herself to do it. Night comes once again, and Mallory is almost dying of thirst because she ran out of water a long time ago. It seems that luck is on her side this time because, soon enough, it starts to rain heavily. She then turns on the radio and finds out that since the main roads are getting flooded, people are using the smaller roads. Soon, a car pulls over nearby, which gives her some hope, but it just turns out to be Christian. Before he can come over, Mallory has an idea, and she uses the dead rat's blood and applies it to her leg. She acts as if she is dead so that Christian thinks she died while cutting her foot. When Christian comes and starts to get close to check if she's dead, Mallory immediately stabs him, takes his car keys, and after locking his car, she throws the keys away so that he can't find them. She now hopes that if a car is passing by, they will see Christian's car on the side of the road and stop to check. And surely enough, a police car pulls over. As soon as the policeman steps out of the car, Mallory starts screaming at the top of her lungs, but sadly, because of the heavy rain and thunder, the officer can't hear her at all. Meanwhile, Christian goes up to the officer and pretends to be an innocent guy who got injured because of the storm. He requests the officer to drop him off at the cabin, and they leave. Mallory keeps calling out for help, but it's pointless. She starts to feel hopeless and thinks about what Christian said before. She finally finds the strength and begins sawing her leg. But before she can make any major cuts, the car suddenly starts moving thanks to the flood. And finally, the car's door opens and she is able to get out. Even though she is free, she's heavily wounded and needs to find shelter. She approaches the river and starts walking along it, and soon she sees a cabin nearby and hears screams coming. She starts heading for the cabin, and as she moves towards it, the stick she's holding triggers a bear trap. Then Mallory recalls the cabin Christian told her about and realizes that this must be that cabin and that Christian must be inside. She then silently peeks through the window and sees Christian killing the poor officer that helped him earlier. She also sees that he is holding the homeowner's daughter, Katie. She carefully sneaks into the cabin and sees that Christian has murdered the other family member. She quickly grabs the officer's gun and steps into Katie's room to untie her. Meanwhile, Christian is in another room and is putting on the police officer's uniform. Soon, Mallory hears Christian approaching and she rushes to hide. Once he goes up to Katie, Mallory comes out of her hiding spot. She tells him not to move or she'll shoot. Christian doesn't listen though and attacks her. While they fight, Mallory tells Katie to escape. Mallory also manages to escape from Christian. He tries to find her but is unable to. She then sneaks behind him and pushes him out of the window. He falls and his leg gets crushed into the bear trap. Katie and Mallory then come outside and Mallory hands him his knife. She starts mocking him, saying that she'll help him just as he helped her, and tells him that maybe he was right about fate and maybe it was always supposed to go like this. She then leaves him all alone, and Katie and Mallory go to the road to look for help. Thanks for watching. To support the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button and press the bell icon to get new video updates.